Did you guys know that 90% of players who play in the solo cash cup don't even qualify for the finals and struggle to make it out of opens? Well, in finals, only 1 in 100 players actually make earnings every single week. So what are these pro players who make earnings constantly doing that beginner level players aren't, and what strats are they actually using? So what I did is I hosted my own solo cash cup 3 times this week. I've given away over $1,000 in prize pools, you can see here, to all of the players who are playing who managed to win a game for exactly what strats they're doing. I'm talking about players like Jake Buka, who's won over 35 solo games, Prism, who's made over a K and made grand finals, as well as a bunch of players who've got multiple time earnings in regular solo cash cup tournaments, to figure out exactly what strats they're using that you guys can copy. Please leave a like and let's get straight into this. First things first, this pro strat of using this stair is the perfect counter to the Nitro Fist. Here's why all of the pros have started using this weird edit and what are the benefits of doing so. So this first box is what 99% of players do in solos. They just build a single box and put a cone in the center, however somebody can just jump straight in and then start left clicking the Nitro Fist, and you're going to go down in that situation. This second box is what all of the pros are starting to do. So when somebody jumps in, they either get bumped off to the side like that, so they don't even get into your box, or if they come in from the front or from the back, just like here, they're going to go in and they'll be underneath your stair. And at this point in time, it takes 2 hits to actually break this stair, so you've easily got enough time to exit out the top, jump out, and rebox safely. As you can see, by having a bunch of these stairs set up, you're not actually able to get hit by the other player when they jump into your box with the Nitro Fist. It's the perfect counter and it works every time. So that's how you counter when you're boxed up. What if somebody starts W keying and you don't have time? What you need to do is use the combat plus the right click uppercuts. As they get towards you all and they start swinging, right click to knock them back, deal about 60 damage, and then use the combat for that range shot. This is where so many pros are starting to use the combat, because you get way more bullets to deal damage with, as well as you get a lot more range when you're actually using the right click uppercut into the combat shot to do so much damage. You guys need to stop getting in your head that you need to rebox or try to shoot back versus somebody using the fist on you. What you need to do instead is just right click to counter, and then you can even do a left click slam after. The right click is so unbelievably strong, it hits opponents through their builds. As you can see right here, he's lost a lot of damage to this other player W keying him, and they start left clicking his box, and all you need to do is right click to counter. You do 60 damage to the opponent as well as knock them back, so you get a bit of time to heal up if needed. If you guys are interested in getting coached by me as well as a bunch of the players that I feature in this video, you need to go ahead and check out Solo Superstars. I've just launched it and already over half of the spots have gone within 24 hours, and the first session is starting extremely soon. You get access to me, a load of other coaches, as well as a bunch of pros like Bolt, Muzz, and Reet, and of course you get 30 hours worth of coaching from all of these great minds in Fortnite. I'd really recommend you guys check it out. Do not miss any further sessions, and of course you get the free solos and FNCS Masterclass when you sign up. It is the best deal I've done and the best way of improving if you guys are interested in comp. So where are the pros actually landing in season 3? The one thing that I've noticed, the most common landing spot with all of the pros that I've watched so far, is they tend to land on the south side of the map, simply because there is just way more metal, so you can always have cap metal and you're easily able to refarm it if needed everywhere, as well as there are slurp plants all over. So if you ever need to find an extra heals, if you ever get tagged, you can easily just find a slurp plant, as well as you can even potentially tank storm with the slurp plant since they give 30 white as well. And the next benefit, of course, landing down the south side, is just there's way more of these nitro tunnels. What you do is pop a fizz, hop through it, and you're gonna have an insane rotation, so there's no downside of being towards the edge of the map, and you can pretty much always rotate centrally, and you can even combine this with the guys that are in the center of the map to get completely center zone, no matter how bad the zone pools that you get are. Now the next most common thing I've seen from pros this season is always trying to box up or position somewhere where you can get the nitro splash effect. Just box up on, let's say, an ammo crate where you've got nitro splashes spare, and you can use these instantly to rotate if you get a max distance partial zone. Don't just rely on using fists for every single rotate. If you can try to put yourself in a spot where you can refarm plus have spare nitro splashes, so you can rotate with extended sprint as well as fast movement speed, you'll always have some of the best rotates possible and be the first one into zone. And of course, all of the pros this season in solos are intentionally trying to abuse Deadside as much as possible. So what you guys want to do is every single 6th, 7th, and 8th zone, intentionally try to put yourself towards the Deadside. So wherever zone is expanding open, where it's creating new space, try to stick to the edge of zone and even use your nitro splashes, or go ahead and use your fist to get into the Deadside as early as possible. The key benefit of this is you can refarm, as well as you be in such a strong position to not waste any heals and be on a way less congested side of zone, where you'll easily be able to have it free rotates and not get tagged at all. So this right here is how pros are rotating in Season 3. This is Jake Booker, who's won 35 games in solo cash cups. The first thing you'll notice is he's carrying the dashes, so he's got a bit of extra mobility to get out of a bad situation, as well as he's scouted an insane amount. Then he goes ahead and waits for the player near him to rotate, so he's not going to get shot in the air, tries to shoot other players as they go, so they're not going to look back, and then blocks off his angles towards the server. This means that he's not going to tag as he leaves the box, so he's completely safe to rotate without taking any damage in return. Now, for how you actually want to rotate and where do you want to get to, I would always recommend either trying to be on a super high layer or being on the dead side of zone this season. So as you can see, you want to combine this either by using a fizz to stay in the air for longer, or in this case, it's not too far of a rotate, just use all 4 charges with your fist and put yourself towards either the dead side or a super high layer. And also a big thing is don't be afraid to waste some mats when you land. Don't just sit in a 1x1 where you can get jumped in on easily. Make a load of space, make sure you're safe, and make sure you're not going to get sprayed by other players or get fisted into. Also guys, don't be afraid to just use the uppercut feature in combination with the combat shotgun, especially towards the later zones. This is one of the best ways of getting kills. Use the combat shotgun to get a bit of opening damage on somebody's shield, and then use the uppercut to knock them out in storm, as well as do 60 damage to them. One of the most important things that pros are doing that you guys need to do during this season is always make sure whenever you're in a permanent box during the end game or even a mid game, try to make sure you're in metal as much as possible so you can conserve your metal, especially on rotates. This means that you'll be completely safe from somebody using a Nitro Splash, running in, only does 300 structure damage, as well as someone using the Nitro Fist exploit and jumping into your box. Also remember to do the U-shape edit whenever you can. I'd actually recommend just getting in the habit of the muscle memory of doing this as much as possible, because if somebody was to jump into your box, let's say you had to be in wood, you had to be in brick, and you're sitting up top on the stair, you have absolutely complete safety from somebody jumping straight in, and it means there's 0 chance that you die in that situation. Just get in the muscle memory of doing this at all times during an endgame so you're completely safe. Now during moving zones, one of the best strategies you guys can do is remember where the dead side of zone is. So as you can see right here, zone is just played from down in the south up to the north, and this means that the dead side is to the north. So what you want to do is combine this with using a fizz, so you can run out into that dead side where you know nobody's going to be, and then you'll be able to get a free fist rotate as well as save some of your fist charges. So as you can see, instead of going out towards congested side, go out towards the dead side of zone. There is nobody on this entire north hand side, and you'll be able to use your fists completely for free as well as land in a perfect position. One of the best strats I've seen this season from pros that beginners aren't doing is just using sprint rotates rather than completely relying on the Nitro Fists. Right here, there's no reason to use a fist charge. Instead, just sprint in when you spot a good timing and get yourself into the end of zone. Now you're going to have extra charges to stay higher up in the air, potentially take height on the next rotate. One of the most important strats that you guys need to do during moving zones this season, as well as especially during final moving, is stick completely to the edge of zone. Stop just tarping through the center of zone. You're going to burn through way more mats, and the chance of you getting jumped in on by somebody who needs a refresh with a Nitro Fist, or even just getting uppercut out into storm, is so much higher. Instead, do what Bass does right here. He sticks completely on a specific edge of storm towards the left hand side in this case, which allows him to save mats when tarping, allows him to not have to box fight other players, as well as prevents him from getting jumped in on by somebody using the Nitro Fists. As you can see, as zone expands, he waits for a second, sticks completely on the left hand side, and gets out onto the left. The best way that I found of surviving somebody jumping in your box endgame this season is to go ahead and actually use the uppercut feature on the Nitro Fist. When somebody's left clicking it, just uppercut is going to take you out of the hit range as well as get you out the box and allow you to survive in that situation. Again, the uppercut is so crucial. One big thing as well is the fact that there is actually a lot of heal-off this season because of how much mobility there is. You need to have at least 3 or more medkits to have a chance of winning, but the most important factor for winning a game this season is to make sure that you go ahead and actually start healing off at the correct time. You try to stay in a circle for as long as possible. Prism right here went ahead and started healing off too early because they ran out of mats, which means of course they're able to play all their medkits, but they get storm sickness after 50 seconds in storm at this point, and of course they're able to fight and kill another player with the fists, but they lose the game to the other player who stayed in the storm with just 3 medkits. Alright, the last strat in this video might seem completely counterintuitive to compared to what you've seen pros do in previous seasons, but I'm going to recommend that all of you guys, if you want to get better solos this season, do not even try going for height. Height is so completely grief when it comes to heal-offs, because other players who do not have any heal-off are just going to use the fists and uppercut and right-click you out into storm when you're trying to play for heal-off. Exactly what happens here. A few seconds away from being in a perfect heal-off situation with 5 medkits, and a player just uppercuts up and starts fighting you, and you're completely screwed. Instead, try to play for mid-ground when it comes to the final zone. It's going to give you a way higher chance of winning the game. As you can see, the other player down on low ground won the game just from going up on height. This is why height is so hard to play for.